We got word yesterday that NASCAR could be in store for one of the most drama-filled off-seasons we've ever seen. Not only are there major concerns around the next-gen car and its safety concerns, but now team negotiation processes with NASCAR on a new economic structure in the sport have gotten leaked, and it's not looking super optimistic. Essentially, we're seeing owners claiming that 60 to 80% of their revenue comes from sponsorship, which, as we've seen over the last 20 years, has only gotten murkier and murkier, with a lot of big sponsors leaving and not many other ones coming into the sport. This has left a lot of race teams floundering to recoup money lost in the sport. Jeff Gordon, who currently is president of Hendrick Motorsports, claims that this past year HMS didn't even make a profit. They lost money. And when your biggest team in the sport isn't profitable, then you really got to ask the question on who is. Now, to play devil's advocate, it's only fair to point out that this could be some media gymnastics by Jeff Gordon and HMS to publicly push pressure on NASCAR. Maybe they are lying, but they could be stretching the truth a little bit. But if this is the case, then if they truly are not, if Hendrick Motorsports lost money last year, I mean, clearly, reworking the NASCAR economy, just giving it an overhaul, is a definite must in this next TV deal. Either way, we were told that teams and NASCAR are both very far apart in their negotiations. This type of drama is scary when you first read it, and there is reason for concern. I mean, we've seen lockouts happen in sports before, but NASCAR isn't exactly set up the same way as the NFL or NBA. Teams and drivers can protest, but at the same time, other teams and other drivers could be brought up into the Cup Series. Kind of think about what happened in that Keanu Reeves movie, The Replacements, where football players went on strike and they just brought up scabs. There's not really a sanctioning body like a union that represents all the drivers like there is the NFLPA, the NBAPA, that they represent all of the players. There is nothing like that for drivers right now. So really, it would kind of just become a game of chicken. There would be some drivers that would be with it. There would be some drivers that are against it. Same with teams. There would be some teams that were with it, some teams that were against it. And it could just become this whole big, who's going to cross the line first type of thing. And I think this would probably be the absolute worst case scenario. And I don't think there is any need to worry about this yet. Something like this is possible, but it would be a huge risk to a lot of drivers and a lot of teams. So until I see a little more steam building up towards something like this, I'm not going to stress about it. Another possibility that people have brought up is that teams and drivers could pull kind of what's happening in golf right now with the LIV and start a whole new series kind of catered towards their demands. Once again, this is something that would take a lot of manpower and a lot of motivation to have happen. And after seeing what this did to IndyCar in the late 90s and early 2000s when IndyCar and kart split, I think, both sides know it wouldn't be beneficial for anyone long term. And the main reason I'm not really stressing about this right now is because we've got 2 years before this new TV deal will be restructured, and it sounds like negotiations have started within the last 6 months. We are at the baby stages, the beginning stages of this negotiation process. NASCAR is starting on one end of the table and the teams on the other. And I think right now NASCAR's answer to the team's concern is the next-gen car, re-upping the charter system, making sure that stays around, and possibly instituting a cap, a salary cap like the NFL and NBA has, something that would be a structured system that every team would have to follow, and it has a limit on the amount of money teams can spend on what I would assume would be crew members, parts for your car, and drivers. Now that's what NASCAR wants, and in their mind this will reduce the cost of teams, and by reducing the cost of teams, that will gain them more money, and it would accomplish their ultimate goal of shrinking the competition gap. Which sounds nice from a fan perspective, but then you have the teams who obviously don't like the next-gen car already, and those who do not want to see a cap put in place because this handicaps teams like HMS and JGR that have always been able to just outspin the entire field to be fast. They don't want that to change. Teams want a bigger chunk of TV money that NASCAR makes a motherload on. That's what they want. They don't want the sport to change where it would affect the competition and how good they are. They just want more money. And there's nothing like, listen, you could take that and interpret that as being greedy. This is just business. This is how it works. At the end of the day, if the teams are making money, then the sport is healthy and good. So I don't see anything wrong with that, but that's just kind of where the two sides are at right now. Where is the middle ground? Honestly, that's probably for someone a lot smarter than me to figure out. But I think finding a common ground is inevitable. Yes, NASCAR could bring in some scabs and other drivers to race if the teams don't concede. But they know as well that will only hurt their product in the long run, and in the short term, because, people tune in to see the best stock car drivers in the world. They don't tune in just to watch anyone in a stock car with a NASCAR sticker on the hood. They don't care about, just having drivers on the track. They want the specific drivers they've grown to love and watched become the greatest stock car drivers in the world. I'd say what needs to happen is NASCAR needs to fix the safety issue in the next gen car, which I think is actively happening. They need to re-up the charter agreement because I think the charter does more good than bad, even though there are some negatives. And then I think NASCAR needs to let go of the cap idea and just share a bigger chunk of the pie. I think there will have to be some give and take on both sides. But right now, even with all the doom and gloom from the media, I'm going to wait patiently and see what the next step turns into. But at the end of the day, both sides know they need the other to survive. And just like it always has, both sides will come to an agreement. While inevitably someone is going to be happy, we're still going to come to the same endpoint. Will we get something like a protest from drivers? Maybe. Will there be like a lockout, kind of like we saw with the NFL and NBA, I think like 10 years ago? Maybe, but while that wouldn't be good, at the end of the day, things like this in sports, they just have to happen. You have to go through it, and if you're a real fan, you'll wait patiently and see what comes out the other end. But what do y'all think? Do you think there's a reason for concern here? Or, am I just being a little too casual about it? Tell me what you think in the comments. And also, I'm going to be taking a break for a week. I'm going on vacation, so you're probably not going to see any TikToks or YouTube videos out of me this whole week. But I'll be active on Twitter, so follow me on that if you want to keep up with me. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening, and I hope y'all have a great day.